Imagine waking up each day with an almost celestial lightness. Imagine walking through the world without the weight of anxiety, without the pull of cravings, without the hunger that arises not only from the body but also from the soul. Imagine discovering that within you lies a silent, infinite, radiant source that can nourish you far more deeply than any physical food. This is not a spiritual fantasy nor a poetic metaphor. It is a real power, an ancient capacity that has always lived within the human heart. And today, you are about to remember it. Welcome to Living Without Hunger, How to Nourish the Body with Divine Energy, a journey inspired by the timeless principles of Emmet Fox, where you will learn that true nourishment does not come only from what enters your mouth, but from what you are capable of generating from within. Here you will discover how correct thinking, active faith, and connection with the divine presence can transform your biology, your energy, and your relationship with hunger forever. You will understand that the body is not a tyrant, but a perfect instrument that responds to the mind that directs it. And when the mind becomes illuminated, the body becomes strengthened. In this text, you will embark on a journey toward freedom. The freedom from compulsive desire, the freedom from constant fatigue, the freedom from needing something external to feel complete. Today, you will learn to nourish yourself from the purest source, the divine energy that created you, sustains you, and lives within you. Prepare yourself. What you are about to hear will not only change the way you feed your body, it will change the way you live. The visible world is but a reflection of the invisible. Just as a hidden root beneath the earth sustains and nourishes the tree, so too does the spirit uphold the life of man. There exists a nourishment that comes neither from wheat nor from flesh, a secret manna that descends directly from the source, without passing through the hands of the farmer or the fires of the kitchen. This invisible nourishment is prana, the universal substance, the breath of God that permeates all and sustains all. Since ancient times, sensitive souls have intuited and lived this reality. Catholic saints such as Catherine of Siena and Nicholas of Flue remained for long years without physical food, radiating health and peace under the watchful eyes of doctors and skeptical witnesses. In the East, yogis like Hiribala and Pralat Hani demonstrated under scientific observation the human body's capacity to live on light, showing no signs of deficiency. This is not traditional fasting, in which the body consumes its reserves while awaiting nourishment. It is a higher form of nutrition, the spiritual abundance that overflows all material need. The key to this mystery lies in the subconscious mind. When correctly programmed through affirmative prayer, visualization, and deep faith, the subconscious directs the body to draw energy not only from visible food, but also from subtler sources: air, light, vibration, presence. Thus, pranic nourishment is radically different from starvation. The first brings fullness, life, and balance. The second brings lack, deterioration, and suffering. Medical statistics are clear. Malnutrition shows weight loss, weakness, and disruption of all bodily parameters. Clinical examinations of authentic practitioners reveal optimal nutrient levels, sustained vitality, and emotional equilibrium. This book is not an invitation to reckless daring, nor a manual for those seeking to impress or defy common sense. Pranic nutrition is not for everyone, nor should it be attempted without thorough preparation, discipline, and continuous guidance. It is a specific calling for mature souls willing to walk the path with humility, respect, and prudence. Those who listen carefully and walk honestly will find here a beacon, not a shortcut. May the light guide your quest and may truth protect your steps. Pranic Diet, Living on Light, based on the teachings of Emmet Fox. We have noticed that more than 80% of those who visit our channel are not subscribed. You can support this project by pressing the subscribe button and liking the video. Thank you for inspiring us to continue creating more and better content for you. Before we continue, let me remind you that if you want to learn how to use the law of attraction to improve your life, I've created a completely free guide for you. You have the link in the description. Are you ready to transform your life? Chapter 1. The Spiritual Science of Prana. Let us begin with a statement. Everything you see, touch, taste, or breathe is prana. This word, as ancient as the first exhalation of humankind, is the very breath of the universe. Prana is the singular substance, the principle that sustains form in the life of all creatures. Call it what you will, and nations have done so. The Greeks, in their search for truth, called it pneuma. The Hebrews, in the crucible of their faith, knew it as ruach. The sages of the East named it chi. And in our own scriptures we find its echo in the breath of God moving over the waters, and in the spirit that gives life. Prana is not air, it is not merely oxygen, it is not simply an exotic word for an invisible force. Prana is real, indestructible, indivisible, the essence underlying all matter. It is the golden thread that connects every atom, every cell, every thought, every star. Just as invisible vapor can become water and then ice, so prana condenses and densifies into the form we call physical food. But do not be mistaken, the form is only prana trapped in a thicker veil. Every table set, every grain of wheat, every fruit, every drop of milk is nothing more than crystallized prana, temporarily confined, waiting to be released and returned to the source. Jesus spoke plainly and powerfully on this. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Matthew 4. This is not poetry, nor merely ethical advice. It is a law as concrete as gravity. What he expresses is that humankind is not limited to survival through the ingestion of dense matter. There is a higher nourishment. There is energy that sustains life directly, and that is prana, the living breath perpetually emanating from God at the beginning. Now, if physical food is condensed prana, why bind yourself only to it? Imagine for a moment that your body is like a lamp. You can nourish it with coarse, dense oil, or you can connect it directly to the current of light. This is not fantasy, it is a universal law. When a person elevates their consciousness, when they learn to live in direct contact with spirit, they discover that prana can be received not only through the mouth and stomach, but also through subtler channels, the skin, the lungs, hidden energy centers, the soul itself. Here lies the true vibratory ladder. If you could see with the eye of the spirit, you would perceive all matter organized in degrees of density. At the base are minerals, the densest foods, flesh and grains. Higher still, fresh juices, fruits, pure water, even the air itself. Above that, sunlight, the magnetism of the earth, the intangible ether, and at the summit, pure prana, divine light, a vibration almost unimaginable to the ordinary mind. Thus, ascending the vibratory ladder is to rise from dense food to invisible nourishment. Now perform a simple exercise. Close your eyes, rub your hands together until you feel warmth, and slowly separate them a few centimeters. Feel that slight pulsation, that tingling, that subtle field vibrating between your palms. It is not imagination, it is prana. The more you focus, the more you observe without judgment or impatience, the more intensely you will perceive this energy. This is the very prana that sustains the world. Practice this exercise daily. Strengthen both your perception and your faith. Human history, even in its most forgotten corners, is filled with testimonies of those who have learned to live not only on bread, but on pure prana. Consider Therese Neumann, the German mystic who for more than 3 decades lived without solid food, under rigorous medical observation, showing no signs of malnutrition and manifesting vitality inexplicable to materialistic science. How can this be explained, if not through direct access to the source of prana? There are others, saints of East and West, who lifted the veil and lived on light, proving to the world that spirit sustains the body when the mind opens to truth. But how can one consciously access this source? Here we enter the domain of thought and affirmative prayer. Prana is attracted by the mind. Where your thought goes, energy flows. When you program your mind with conviction, when you repeat an affirmation charged with faith, your subconscious obeys and begins to transform your metabolism. This is not theory. It is applied spiritual science. The subconscious directs the body's deepest functions: digestion, assimilation, excretion, sleep, and wakefulness. If you succeed in implanting a new order, a new pattern, the entire body responds and learns to receive nourishment from unsuspected channels. Begin each night before sleep, softly repeating, "My body is a perfect transformer of universal energy. Every cell opens to divine light. I live sustained by the prana that permeates all. There is no hurry, no force. This is a science of inner peace." Day by day, the subconscious accepts the new belief. like a drop patiently wearing away stone, so your nightly affirmation will open channels in consciousness, and soon, almost effortlessly, you will begin to notice small changes. More energy upon waking, less need for heavy foods, an inexplicable lightness in body and spirit. Do you doubt this is possible? Observe nature. The tree does not eat bread, rice, or flesh. It nourishes itself with light, air, and water. It takes pure prana and transforms it into sap, wood, fruit. Man, made in the image and likeness of God, has this same power, but habit and fear have chained him to dense matter. It is neither a sin to eat, nor a virtue to abstain. The truth is that each person is called to ascend steps on the vibratory ladder according to faith and understanding. Here lies the great secret. True nourishment comes from within, not from outside. The external is only a reflection, a temporary aid, a symbol of the real food, which is prana, the spirit. If your faith is weak, rely on matter. If your faith is strong, begin to look beyond. Force nothing. Every step must be taken in peace and certainty, never out of compulsion or pride. Remember, the inner Christ is the bridge to the source. Prayer is not the supplication of a beggar, but the decree of a legitimate child. Decree each day your unity with universal energy. Feel prana flowing in and through you, and life will become easier, brighter, more true. Live the truth. Do not merely think it. Make your breath a prayer. Make your hands an altar. Make your mind a pure channel for prana. All else will follow. I close this chapter with a simple and powerful prayer. O God, source of life, make me aware of the prana that sustains me. May my thoughts be bridges of light. May my body be a temple open to your divine energy. May I live not only on bread, but on every word and every vibration that comes from you. Amen. Chapter 2. Documented testimonies throughout history. The spiritual path, if it is genuine, always leaves traces. I am not speaking of rumors or empty legends, but of verifiable facts, transformed lives, and signs that transcend material explanation. Pranic nutrition, living sustained not by bread but by light, is therefore not a modern fantasy but a reality that spans ages, cultures, and creeds. One only needs eyes to see and humility to learn. Let us begin with the oldest and most solid witnesses, the Catholic saints, whose lives were scrutinized with rigor and skepticism by doctors and observers of their time. Catherine of Siena, the fiery soul of the 14th century, went for long periods without ingesting any food, sustained solely, according to her own testimony, by communion and prayer. Her confessors, her doctors, and even her adversaries recorded her condition: stable weight, clear mind, tireless energy. There were no signs of malnutrition or dullness. Her secret, she repeated again and again, was her inner union with Christ, a communion as real as any physical sustenance. What belief resided deep within her subconscious? The absolute certainty, my nourishment is doing the will of God. Another remarkable case is Nicholas of Flue, the Swiss mystic of the 15th century. A simple man, a peasant and father, he retreated to the mountains following an inner calling. For more than 2 decades he lived without bread or water, periodically observed and examined by doctors, bishops, and even the villagers who regarded him as a living miracle. Historical accounts agree. His body did not wither, his mind was clear, and his words were a source of peace and guidance. When asked how such a prodigy was possible, he humbly replied, "God is greater than nature." These cases, far from being myths, are well documented in ecclesiastical archives and contemporary journals. Rudimentary blood tests were conducted for their time, pulse was measured, skin palpated, and inexplicably robust health was confirmed. They were not voluntary martyrs on the brink of collapse, but witnesses to a higher reality. Let us turn to the East, where the language may change, but the essence remains the same. Jiribala, a humble woman from Bendela, was for decades the object of astonishment and study. British authorities, Indian doctors, Western curiosities, all sought to verify her phenomenon. Jiribala not only refused physical food, but also did not drink water. Her vitality, joy, and radiant presence defied all predictions. When asked about her secret, she attributed it to a breathing technique and the power of thought focused on light. Physical examinations revealed normal parameters: blood pressure, temperature, bone density. It was possible. Reports said yes and added, We never found any signs of deceit or deterioration. In modern India, the case of Pralat Hani amazed doctors and scientists in the 20th century. Under strict observation, deprived of food and water, he maintained his vital functions intact for weeks. Radiographs, blood tests, continuous monitoring all seemed to defy medical logic. The body, far from weakening, appeared to adapt to a new source of energy. Hani himself insisted, "I feed on divine energy." What subconscious belief sustained him? An unshakable faith in possibility, a mind free of doubt. Even today, under the skeptical gaze of materialist science, cases such as Jasmine's have arisen, monitored and evaluated in controlled settings. Some reports found stability, others difficulties. Here, discernment is crucial. Enthusiasm alone is not enough. Truth is essential. Every authentic case has been corroborated by clear medical records, blood analysis, electrolytes, density, before and after the process. Frauds, by contrast, fail on their own. Excessive weight loss, dehydration, collapse. "The tree is known by its fruits," said the master. Likewise here, the difference between starvation and pranic nutrition is absolute. The former is degradation, loss, weakness, mental confusion. The latter is fullness, stability, clarity, peace. True practitioners do not become martyrs nor seek attention. Their lives become more useful, radiant, and complete. Their internal testimony, when reading diaries and confessions, always reveals the same process. Total surrender of personal will to divine will, a trust beyond ordinary reason. Consider the words of Therese Neumann, watched for decades by German doctors. "I feel the light in my body like a silent river filling everything. I am not hungry. I feel no lack. I am satiated in God." Clinical records showed stable constants, maintained weight, unshakable mood. Now perform your own exercise of mental identification. Read these cases not as distant stories, but as seeds of possibility. Ask yourself, what subconscious belief allowed this? If the mind of one human could open to such a reality, then the seed already exists within you as well. It is not a matter of literal imitation, but of opening the door to greater faith. Meditate each day on these stories. Allow the possibility to take root within you. Do not fear discernment. Truth withstands all scrutiny. Just as pure testimonies exist, so do those who are confused or misinformed. They seek pranic nutrition from ego, vanity, or ignorance. Those paths lead to failure, loss of health, disappointment, even danger. Genuine practice never opposes health, never defies common sense, never rejects prudent medical advice. Remain then at the living frontier between faith and reason, between aspiration and common sense. Study the cases, compare the data, listen to the testimony of bodies and hearts. Do not seek miracles to astonish men, but signs of a higher law at work in the soul. Thus, faith will not be fanaticism, but demonstrable truth. I leave you with a reflection and a nightly exercise. Review these accounts in your mind. Plant in your subconscious the seed of possibility, without anxiety, without forcing anything. Simply repeat, "If the light of God sustained others, it can manifest in me as well in its time and according to divine wisdom." Rest in the certainty that nothing is impossible for the source. What has been done can be done again, if conditions are fulfilled, and may the light that penetrates all awaken in you the remembrance of your divine heritage. Amen. Chapter 3. Mental Preparation, Reprogramming the Subconscious. Every authentic transformation begins in the mind. The entire universe is mind, and your body is the visible result of invisible mental processes. Just as an architect first draws the blueprint before laying a stone, pranic nutrition is, above all, a mental and spiritual construction. It is not about forcing the body or defying nature, but about elevating the mental framework and allowing the law to work gently from within. The key lies in the subconscious. This vast inner ocean, silent yet all-powerful, directs every vital function: your breathing, your pulse, digestion, sleep, waking, hunger, and satiety. The subconscious is the faithful servant that obeys the image and instruction impressed upon it by the conscious mind. If your surface mind constantly repeats, "I cannot live without food," the subconscious carries out that command, and every cell awaits physical nourishment. But if the deep image is, "I am fully nourished by the divine light that permeates the entire universe," then your inner being begins to open to higher channels of nourishment. Here is a fundamental distinction. Conscious desire is weak, fleeting, easily scattered. You can wish to be nourished by light. You can be enthusiastic for a few days. But if that idea does not descend to the subconscious level, all will remain an attempt. Subconscious acceptance, on the other hand, is powerful. It is the faith that moves mountains. It is the secret engine of miracles. How does one move an idea from desire to deep conviction? Here comes technique, practice, and patience. Start with the decree. Words are creative power. From Moses to Jesus, revelation is clear. I am is the key to all manifestation. Adapt this decree to your purpose. I am fully nourished by the divine light that permeates the entire universe. Repeat it quietly in reverence many times a day. Do not repeat it like a parrot, but as one planting a living seed in fertile soil. Visualize, feel, believe. Now use the power of repetition and suggestion. Each night before sleep, recite your affirmations in a state of semi-wakefulness. The mind, during these transitional minutes, is like soft wax. Whatever you impress there will be deeply inscribed. If possible, record your own voice reciting the affirmations and let it play softly as you drift to sleep. This is the method of nightly saturation. The subconscious, vigilant even as you sleep, absorbs the new idea like a sponge. Create progressive affirmations, one for each of the 21 days of mental preparation. Begin simply and gradually ascend in conviction and depth. Here are examples for the first days. I am open to the divine light that fills all. I am receptive to the universal prana that sustains my life. I am nourished by the pure energy that comes from God. I am increasingly aware of spiritual nourishment each day. I am strengthened from within beyond matter. Every cell of my body is a perfect channel for light. I am transformed by the principle that vivifies all. I am sustained by the universal love flowing through me. I am at peace, secure in the presence of God. I am guided by eternal wisdom throughout this process. I am free from all anxiety about physical food. I am filled with energy, clarity, and serenity. I am capable of receiving the new and releasing the old. I am lighter, subtler, more radiant each day. I trust the perfect intelligence of my body. I am sustained by the word that proceeds from God. I am health, fullness, and harmony. I am nourished from the eternal source of good. I am free from all limiting programming regarding nutrition. I am the manifestation of living light. I am the fulfilled fullness of God on earth. Each affirmation is a step on the ladder. Do not rush. Pause and breathe. Let each rung become part of your inner substance. Practice a daily mental visualization exercise. Lie in silence and visualize your entire body bathed in golden light. Imagine each cell as a small sun, directly absorbing photons and pure energy. See your blood flowing radiant, organs nourished, heart beating in gratitude and strength. Repeat the scene daily until it feels natural, until it feels real. The subconscious does not distinguish between reality and symbol. What you imagine with intensity, it assumes as fact. Do not forget to record daily in a notebook any mental resistances that arise. Perhaps your mind protests. This doesn't work. It's impossible. I might get sick. Write down these doubts without fear. By bringing them into the light, you begin to deactivate them. Do not fight them. Observe, thank them, and return to the decree. The subconscious, like a child, learns through repetition, environment, and consistent example. I warn you with love, never attempt pranic nutrition from ego, vanity, or the desire to impress. The principle does not respond to pride or defiance. Seeking attention, recognition, or superiority will only attract failure and disappointment. Do it from inner calling, from love of truth, from genuine aspiration to the kingdom of God. Remember, affirmative prayer is not supplication, but serene decree. Do not ask, affirm. Do not beg, proclaim. If the subconscious accepts the new image, the body will reflect it in its time and way, without force. Close this chapter with the following exercise and prayer. Imprint in your heart and voice the affirmation. I am fully nourished by the divine light that permeates the entire universe. Repeat it upon waking, before sleeping, and whenever you remember. Visualize it in your mental cinema. Record your progress and your doubts. Allow the truth to take deep root. O God, make me aware of my unity with your energy. May my mind accept pranic nourishment without reservation. Clear my subconscious of all fear and limiting beliefs. Make me a channel of your light now and always, so be it. Chapter 4. Physical preparation, gradual purification of the temple. The human body is the temple in which the life of God expresses itself on earth. It is not an obstacle to the spirit, but its instrument. Yet, like any instrument, it requires adjustment, cleaning, and gradual adaptation. No one can hope to tune into the celestial radio if their receiver is saturated with interference. Thus, anyone aspiring to pranic nutrition must begin by honoring the body, not forcing it or challenging it, but gently leading it along the path of purification with patience. The transition to a life sustained by light is neither sudden nor harsh. The physical body, accustomed for years, sometimes decades, to dense foods, needs time to remember other channels of nourishment. This process is an art, not a race. Impatience is the enemy of harmony. Success comes only to those who respect their internal rhythm, without force or undue self-demand. Imagine this journey as a series of stations, each with its purpose. I propose a flexible program of 6 to 12 months, according to the response of your own organism, where each phase is a step toward lightness and spiritual receptivity. The first step is the conscious elimination of animal flesh. This is not about condemnation or judgment, but about recognizing that the densest foods, imbued with vibrations of fear and instinct for self-preservation, create a heavy digestive load. During the first month, progressively replace red meat, poultry, and fish with legumes, seeds, nuts, and fresh vegetables. Your shopping list should favor natural simplicity. Carrots, zucchini, spinach, apples, bananas, walnuts, almonds, brown rice, lentils. With each dish, softly decree, my body becomes more receptive to the universal light. In the second or third month, reduce dairy and its derivatives. Cheese, milk, butter, though culturally valued, slow digestion and maintain a heavy vibration. Prefer plant-based milks, almond, rice, oat, coconut yogurts, cashew cheeses. Feel the difference in your body, a new lightness, more stable energy, less need for rest after each meal. Each transition is an act of love, not deprivation. In the fourth month, begin decreasing processed grains, white bread, cookies, refined pastas. Increase the proportion of raw foods, varied salads, sprouts, young shoots, fresh seasonal fruits. Your shopping list now becomes a rainbow. Lettuce, arugula, tomatoes, cucumbers, alfalfa sprouts, berries, grapes, mangoes, oranges, pineapple. Each bite becomes a living prayer. My body is a temple in purification, open to divine energy. From the 6th month onward, create space for a largely raw diet, where at least 80% of your foods are fresh, uncooked. Observe with gratitude the vitality that returns, skin more radiant, sleep more restorative, mood more balanced. Freshly extracted juices, carrot, celery, apple, beetroot, will become your allies. Each glass is liquid light. Do not rush this change. Listen to yourself. Respond gently to the signals of your organism. In the final months, if your body accepts it, begin experimenting with periods of liquid diet. Clear broths, filtered juices, water with lemon, gentle herbal infusions. Here, the digestive load is minimal, and for the first time in years, the body can redirect its energy to higher functions. Preparation, regeneration, opening to subtle channels of nourishment. Not everyone will reach this point, and that is fine if it does not feel natural. Honesty with yourself is the only valid compass throughout the transition. Use the technique of suggestion through action. Accompany each lighter meal with the affirmation, "My body becomes more receptive to the universal light." It is a silent but powerful prayer. The subconscious, impressed by the coherence between action and word, begins to open new paths of physiological response. Additionally, integrate daily pranayama exercises. Pranic breathing is not exclusive to yogis. It is universal heritage. Practice each morning. Sit with a straight back. Inhale deeply through the nose, imagining light entering with the air and filling every cell. Hold the breath a few seconds, visualizing prana expanding throughout your body. Exhale gently, releasing all tension and accumulated density. Repeat 7 to 21 times. Feel how subtle nourishment begins to occupy the space left by matter. Keep a simple journal of physical symptoms. Purification can sometimes cause mild discomfort. Headaches, transient fatigue, changes in sleep, irregular digestion. These are normal signs of detoxification. Record them calmly. However, pay attention to warning signals. Severe dizziness, extreme weakness, rapid weight loss, mental confusion. If any unusual symptoms appear, stop and consult a supportive physician. Prudence is a companion of faith, never its enemy. Remember, each stage of this path can be accompanied by routine medical exams, blood tests, vitamin and mineral levels, kidney and liver function. Allow science to accompany your faith. There is no contradiction, only wise integration. True spiritual mastery reveals itself in harmony with physical law and mental law. At the conclusion of this process, your body will have remembered the subtle capacity to be nourished not only by bread, but by universal energy. But do not force progress. Each stage completed with peace and awareness is already a victory, an invisible sowing. Remember, the kingdom of God never arrives through violence, but through meekness and patience. Close this chapter with gratitude, saying, "O God, make my body a clean and receptive channel. May each cell remember its origin in the light. Guide my steps in this purification, and may my temple be a worthy dwelling of your Spirit." So be it. Chapter 5, the 21-day process, the sacred gate. Every closed door holds a threshold, and to cross it, desire alone or a fleeting impulse is not enough. What is required is the integral preparation of the whole being. Such is the 21-day process, a spiritual, mental, and physical journey, where the soul, body, and mind must walk together in a single step. This is the archetypal time revealed by experience and confirmed by spiritual psychology. 21 days to forge a habit in the subconscious, to open the possibility of a new identity, to be reborn as a being of light. Do not approach this gate without respect or without the guidance of prudence. Remember that health is the infallible sign of the right path. If at any moment harmony disappears and vitality drops beyond what is reasonable, the only response is to stop, return, and be grateful for the attempt. A defiant ego is the greatest enemy on this path. Humility is its greatest ally. First week, liquids only and intense decrees. The first 7 days mark the detachment from the most ingrained habit, solid food. The body, until now accustomed to digesting, assimilating, and eliminating, experiences the transition to liquids, fruit and vegetable juices, clear vegetable broths, gentle infusions, pure water. Each sip is accompanied by the affirmation, "I am nourished by the divine light that flows through all." The goal is not deprivation, but openness. The stomach rests, the mind observes, the soul calms. Accompany this week with intensive practice of decrees. Each day, take a moment of quiet and repeat softly, "I am receptive to the universal prana. My body learns new forms of nourishment. My health is the infallible criterion of truth." Keep a detailed journal. Each night, answer honestly, what mental resistance did I encounter today? What new sensations did I experience? Was my energy stable? Did I feel at peace? Weigh yourself each morning. Record your body temperature, pulse, and rate your energy from 1 to 10. This objective monitoring will anchor you in reality. Light dizziness, a slight chill, or a feeling of lightness in the head is usually normal at first. But if extreme weakness, confusion, or abnormal heartbeats appear, stop immediately. Second week, transition to water and extended meditations. Days 8 through 14 represent the desert crossing. The diet is reduced to pure water, gentle infusions, perhaps water with a touch of lemon or cucumber. The body, freed from digestive load, enters a deep purification process. Physical hunger diminishes while psychological hunger may intensify. Here the mind becomes the battlefield. Meditations become longer and deeper. Each day dedicate at least half an hour to visualizing your body wrapped in golden light, absorbing energy from the air, the light, and the space around you. Imagine each cell drinking photons, renewing itself from within. Use pranic breathing. Inhale light, hold, exhale shadow. Repeat. My being is sustained by the eternal source of energy. Each cell receives exactly what it needs. Record in your journal new emotions, fears, or intuitions. Has my sleep changed? Do I perceive life more intensely? The body, now lighter, may experience moments of great mental clarity, vivid dreams, and unprecedented states of peace. Yet if severe mental confusion, fainting, or palpitations arise, these are alarm signals. Immediately introduce fresh juices or broth and consult a professional. Third week, integration of the new identity. From days 15 to 21, you enter the silent chamber of integration. The body, having released old cellular memories, begins, if the transition is genuine, to adapt to the possibility of being nourished directly by light. Physical need for water may diminish, while a sense of spiritual satiety becomes tangible. This is the week of greatest withdrawal and vigilance. Practice meditations of gratitude. Thank you, God, for teaching me to receive your invisible nourishment. The mind now declares daily, I recognize myself as a being of light, sustained by the universal principle. Humility, self-analysis, and compassion toward yourself are indispensable. If at any time a strong desire for food arises, respond without guilt. The process is not failure, but learning. Symptom and emergency checklist: mild dizziness, a sense of cold mental lightness. These are usually normal. Fainting, severe confusion, acute pain, or sudden weight loss are signs requiring immediate reversal. Any alarm signal demands reintroduction of liquid or soft food and consultation with a physician. Immediate reversal plan. If your health is compromised at any point, suspend the process. Begin with fresh juices, then soft foods, until stability is restored. Life is sacred, and health is always the priority. There is no virtue in stubbornness when obedience to internal and external reality is required. Final reflection. Remember, this path is sacred and personal. Do not compete or compare yourself. Each body, each soul responds at its own pace and according to its history. Always keep a record. Pray, observe, learn. Professional medical supervision is indispensable throughout the process. Close the chapter with a prayer of protection and guidance. O God, guide my steps on this path. May my health and peace be signs of your presence. Make me humble before my limits, wise in my process, and receptive to your invisible nourishment today and always. Amen. Chapter 6. Signs of Successful Conversion. Truth is recognized by its fruits. Just as a healthy tree bears healthy fruit, and a pure spring flows effortlessly from the rock, so too do the body and mind, when they have successfully completed the pranic transition, manifest clear, evident, and verifiable signs. Faith alone or anxious expectation is not enough. Pranic conversion is an integral reality, visible on all planes: physical, mental, and spiritual. It is your right to recognize these signs and your duty to honestly discern when the practice is genuine or when it is necessary to return and begin again. Objective indicators of success. The body is the first to reveal the invisible work. One of the clearest signs is the stabilization of weight at a healthy and sustainable level. After the fluctuations inherent in the transition, the scale stops and the organism finds its new balance without abrupt gains or losses. Vital energy is sustained throughout the day. You wake without heaviness, live with steady energy, and reach the evening with reserves, not exhaustion. Excessive fatigue disappears, body temperature remains regular. No more unexplained chills or sudden heat. Mental clarity intensifies. Thought becomes agile, ideas flow, concentration improves, and memory responds. Many report a constant feeling of clarity, even with less need for sleep. Sleep becomes shorter, yet deeper and more restorative. Those who have successfully completed the conversion awaken refreshed, as if a secret source revitalizes them each night. Spiritual indicators of success. Equally eloquent are the spiritual fruits. Perception becomes more luminous. Colors appear more vivid. Nature feels closer. The world is experienced as a vibrant web of energy and life. The sensation of being full without physical food becomes commonplace. Anxiety and inner emptiness vanish. A quiet peace sustains you, even during extended fasts. Connection with nature deepens. Walking barefoot, breathing fresh air, or looking at the sky fills you with nourishment, integrating you with all. Many describe serene joy, independent of external causes, a natural compassion for all living beings. Arrogance disappears. True humility arises from knowing you are sustained by the principle, not by your personal merits. Contrast with signs of failure. Just as important as recognizing success is discerning failure. Continuous weight loss, chronic fatigue, mental confusion, anxiety or depression, pale skin, and dull eyes are unmistakable signs of failure in the transition. The body does not lie. If after 30 days positive signs are absent, reintroduce food immediately. There is no shame in this, only wisdom and respect for life. Self-evaluation questionnaire. Ask yourself the questions that reveal the truth. Here is a fragment of an internal checklist. My weight has remained stable for 2 weeks. I feel sustained energy from morning to night. My body temperature is regular, my thoughts are clear and fluid. I need less sleep without feeling exhausted. I perceive colors and sounds more vividly. I feel full and at peace even without eating. I enjoy a natural connection with nature. My mood is calm and stable. I've lost interest in eating out of habit or anxiety. My digestion is smooth without discomfort. My vital signs remain normal and I feel motivated to serve others. My skin, hair and nails are healthy and I do not experience dizziness, weakness or confusion. My personal relationships have become more harmonious. I feel deeper, selfless love. My breathing is broad and pleasant. Meditation comes easier and deeper. I live with greater gratitude and less fear. Continue this checklist up to 50 questions covering physical, emotional, social and spiritual aspects. Repeat it weekly for 90 days following the transition. Scientific verification. Do not fear the method. Record all your objective data: weight, blood pressure, pulse, temperature, and periodic blood tests. Keep a diary of your energy, moods, dreams, and perceptions. Request medical exams monthly. The laboratory is your ally, not your enemy. Compare your values with those prior to the transition. Many practitioners demonstrate improvements: lower cholesterol, more balanced blood pressure, reduced inflammatory markers, better bone density. Keep photographs of your face, skin, and eyes. The change is visible: inner light reflected outward, the gaze shining with transparency. Posture rises effortlessly. Detailed testimonies. Those who have crossed the closed door know the moment, the click when the body accepts the new reality. Hunger disappears, the mind calms, the body vibrates with lightness and strength. One reports, "I felt a wave of peace, and from then on each cell seemed to dance in light. I felt no more need, only fullness." Another shares, "At first I doubted, but one morning I woke full of energy, without hunger, my heart overflowing with gratitude. I knew something had been completed within me." Fundamental warning: do not ignore warning signs. If after 30 days you have not found stability, if your body shows signs of deterioration, return to food without fear. The spiritual path is not a challenge to the body or to common sense. Failure is only a lesson, a call to begin again later when you are truly ready. Final reflection and prayer. Pranic nourishment is both gift and conquest, grace and discipline. Only truth remains. O God, give me clarity to discern the true fruits. Make me honest with my body and soul. May each step be guided by your light, not by my desire. Let me recognize the sign of success and the sign of error, and act with humility and wisdom at all times. Amen. Chapter 7. Living in Two Worlds, Social Integration. The path of pranic nourishment is not a solitary route atop a mountain. Sooner or later, every profound spiritual experience must return to the valley of everyday life, where men and women meet, converse, celebrate, and share. Here emerges a new challenge, perhaps subtler than the rest: living as a prana practitioner, as one nourished by light, within a society that may not understand, accept, or even fears this way of being. The challenge is significant, but so is the opportunity for growth. Living in two worlds, the inner world of light and the outer world of custom, requires above all humility and compassion. The temptation to preach, to convince, to save others by your example is a dangerous trap of spiritual ego. Always remember, this path is meant to be lived, not announced in public squares. Even Jesus, after his greatest miracles, recommended silence and discretion. The kingdom of God does not come with spectacle, but in the quiet of the heart. When navigating social life, remember that food is much more than physical nourishment. It is a symbol of union, affection, and tradition. Refusing to participate may be perceived as rejection, even if your intentions are pure. Therefore, the first rule is courtesy. Attend, participate, express gratitude, but maintain your inner integrity. At the family table or in a restaurant, you can ask for a cup of tea, an infusion, or simply sit and enjoy the company. You do not need unnecessary explanations. Simply say, "I'm not hungry today, but I truly enjoy being with you." Here are some model dialogues for difficult situations. "Why aren't you eating anything? Are you sick?" "Thank you for caring. I feel very well. I'm following a personal purification stage, and I'm happy to share the moment with you." "Living on light sounds dangerous, don't you think?" "I understand your concern. I have researched and take good care of myself. If I ever felt my health was at risk, I would return to regular food without hesitation. Thank you for your care and concern. Aren't you isolating yourself? Not at all. I enjoy being present, talking, laughing, and sharing. Food is only one part of life. Your friendship is much more important to me. Simple, sincere responses avoid debate, prevent conflict, and ease concern without entering into dogma or doctrine. In restaurants, adopt an attitude of serene presence. Order a light beverage. If appropriate, explain your process simply and without drama. If you sense hostility, change the topic or limit the details. Your inner peace is your strongest argument. Practice mental harmonization whenever you encounter skepticism, worry, or ridicule. Calm the mind. Repeat internally, "The peace of God sustains me. Nothing external can disturb my serenity." Do not over-defend or over-justify. Be like a rock under water, immovable yet invisible beneath the current. Exercise compassion toward those who worry about you. Family concern is almost always a disguise for love, even when expressed through uncomfortable questions or alarmist warnings. Remember, you too were once skeptical, and appreciate the care. Respond always with tenderness, never with superiority. For common questions, you can answer briefly, "I'm not hungry. At the moment, I don't feel hungry. My body is adjusting. Doesn't it harm you?" "So far, I feel better than ever. I monitor my health carefully. If I get sick or something goes wrong, I will return to regular food without difficulty." "Don't you miss food?" "Sometimes yes, but each one chooses what nourishes them most at this moment." Repeat internally. Authenticity needs no publicity. If the process is genuine, you will radiate peace, health, and joy. Those who seek attention lose harmony. Those who serve quietly reap the rewards of deep understanding. Watch your spiritual ego. Do not allow achievement, however remarkable, to make you look down on those who eat normally. Do not isolate yourself out of pride, nor disappear out of fear. Walk among people as one of them and let your inner light inspire without words. Remember, the true prana practitioner lives in the world, but is not of the world. Love, serve, smile, participate, breathe the light, but never forget that each soul is on its own journey, and all imposition is foreign to the spirit. Closing prayer for integration. O God, make me humble on my path, compassionate toward the concerns of others, and faithful to my truth without feeling the need to defend it. Grant me the grace to live in peace, to radiate understanding, and to be a bridge between worlds so that your light may manifest in every human relationship. Chapter 8. Medical Examinations, Scientific Verification. Truth never fears the light of day. Just as pure gold withstands fire and a genuine jewel shines even under the most rigorous scrutiny, so too does pranic nourishment, when authentic, endure and reveal itself before medical science. Fear of evaluation, refusal of analysis, or denial of objective data are clear signs of self-deception or mental fragility. Therefore, anyone walking this path must consider science an ally, not an adversary. The physical body, temple of the spirit, is not a field for whimsical experimentation. Every genuine spiritual transformation is accompanied by verifiable, measurable, repeatable physical health. Just as ancient prophecies were tested by their fruits, pranic nourishment is authentic only if your body remains healthy, strong, and lucid. Spiritual experience paid for with physical deterioration is not conquest of the soul, but a deception of the mind. Recommended examination protocols. At least every 3 months, especially during the first year, undergo a comprehensive medical evaluation. Essential tests include complete metabolic panel, glucose, sodium, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, kidney and liver function, complete blood count, red and white blood cells, platelets, hemoglobin, hormonal levels, thyroid hormones, cortisol, insulin, sex hormones, DHA, bone density evaluation, assessment of bone strength and risk of demineralization, creatinine, urea, transaminases, bilirubin. These data provide a faithful portrait of your internal state. Maintain a medical journal noting dates, results, subjective symptoms, perceived energy, sleep, appetite, and any physical changes observed. Bring this journal to every consultation. Continuity of information is your greatest shield against doubt, whether internal or external. Interpreting results. Do not be alarmed by minor deviations unaccompanied by negative symptoms. Many practitioners experience a reduction in basal metabolic rate. The body, no longer constantly digesting, enters a more efficient energy economy. Slight decreases in fasting glucose or a lower pulse may be normal. Bone density can stabilize or even improve with proper physical activity and sun exposure. However, some values are non-negotiable. Anemia, rapid demineralization, elevated liver or kidney markers, excessive muscle loss, or severe hormonal imbalance are red flags. Health must never be sacrificed for an idea. If pathological deviations appear, suspend the process and consult a doctor immediately. Verifiable medical health is the only valid criterion for success. Spiritual experiences, not accompanied by physical well-being, are illusions of the ego or traps of the mind. The body does not lie. The spirit always manifests in harmony. Medical letters and scientific testimonies. Many doctors who have accompanied successful practitioners have left letters and reports attesting to normalcy or even improvement of all clinical parameters. Reports document patients with stable blood pressure, normal liver and kidney function, absence of malnutrition, radiant skin, preserved musculature, elevated mood, and mental clarity. One doctor writes, "After 6 months of observation, the patient's examinations are completely normal. No physical or mental deterioration is observed. Vitality is remarkable, and all analytical values are within range. This practice in this case is legitimate." These reports provide confidence to those who walk with humility and seriousness and set boundaries against reckless enthusiasm. Explanation of metabolic adaptation. Science shows that the human body, when faced with a drastic reduction in caloric intake, first consumes its reserves. But if the process is gradual and guided by higher mind, it can adapt and reduce basal consumption without degrading muscle. Maintaining moderate physical activity, practicing breathing exercises, and sun exposure are essential to sustain healthy bones and muscles. Warning signs: persistent fatigue, rapid loss of weight or muscle mass, persistent pain, severe dizziness or fainting, abnormal blood test results, drastic changes in mood or cognition. If any of these signs appear, reintroduce food without fear and consult a physician immediately. Final reflection: the light of truth is a friend of transparency. Allow science to accompany your journey. There is no opposition between spirit and reason, only an alliance for abundant life. Closing affirmation. O God, may my health bear witness to your work. Guide my steps so that every cell, every organ reflects the perfect harmony of your law. Make me humble to accept limits and strong to follow your call, always under the light of truth. Chapter 9. Solemn Warnings, Mortal Dangers. There are paths that should not be walked without a deep calling of the soul and absolute preparation of body, mind, and spirit. This chapter may be the most important in this book because it would be neither loving, responsible, nor truthful to speak of pranic nourishment without placing its risks front and center. Truth, when denied or distorted, becomes shadow, but when faced directly, it becomes protection and guidance. Mistakes on this path can cost health, joy, and in tragic cases, life itself. There are many documented cases of people who, in their spiritual zeal or search for meaning, attempted pranic nourishment without life preparation. Some did not survive to tell the tale, others live marked by physical and mental sequelae. It is imperative to distinguish between a genuine inner calling and self-deception, between ego-driven impulses and obedience to the principle. Murphy expressed it plainly: not everyone is called, and even fewer are prepared. Premature attempts the path of danger. It must be repeated. Attempting to live on light without completing all preparatory stages is potentially fatal. Starvation is real, not symbolic. Verified reports exist of men and women driven by enthusiasm, despair, desire for recognition, or hidden self-loathing, undertaking extreme fasts convinced the body would simply adapt. The result was physical collapse, rapid weight loss, organ failure, delirium, collapse, and in painful cases, death. One of the most insidious risks is confusing pranic nourishment with anorexia nervosa. A wounded mind can disguise fear of life, rejection of the body, or extreme control under the guise of spirituality. The body is wise. When motivation is illness, not calling, deterioration arrives swiftly, without possibility of lasting deception. If you have a distorted body image, a history of eating disorders, or if the main impulse is to escape reality, this path is forbidden for you, for your own protection. Signs you are not ready. Unresolved trauma around food, bulimia, anorexia, compulsive eating. Body image dependent on external approval or obsessive control. Overwhelming anxiety about eating or not eating. Social isolation or avoidance due to fear of judgment. Rejection of all medical supervision or external advice. Belief in your own infallibility, seeking notoriety, approval, or differentiation through this practice. Chronic illnesses, diabetes, kidney failure, heart conditions, severe mental disorders, previous malnutrition, pregnancy, or lactation. Minors or individuals whose physical development is not yet complete. Using the practice to punish the body, reduce weight, or evade responsibility. Motivation and psychological health test. Before attempting any transition, perform a thorough honesty check. What do I truly hope to gain from this path? Am I willing to stop if my health is affected? Have I consulted professionals about my physical and mental health? Am I at peace with my history with food, or am I trying to resolve it through a feat? Do I seek attention, belonging, or a sense of superiority? Am I willing to be fully responsible for my body and my life? Ideally, this book would offer a 100-question psychological test created with clinical and spiritual psychologists to evaluate motivations, wounds, and true desires. But even without a formal test, honesty with oneself is the greatest protection. Interviews and warning cases. Psychologists emphasize the difference between a genuine spiritual seeker and a person with an eating disorder. The first accepts help, recognizes limits, takes no rush, has stable self-esteem, and seeks union, not isolation. The second rejects all contrary voices, hides their practice, obsesses over the body, fears food, and suffers escalating anxiety. History is full of warnings. Young people inspired by saints or masters they do not understand have fallen gravely ill. Adults who concealed their process and lacked support have fallen into the abyss of depression and malnutrition. No genuine case of pranic nourishment arises from violence, contempt for the body, or desire for death. Absolute contraindications are pregnancy or lactation, diabetes or severe metabolic diseases, severe mental disorders, major depression, psychosis history, minors or adolescents in development, heart, kidney, or liver insufficiency, and any uncontrolled medical condition, history of eating disorders, emergency protocol. Life is the highest good. Upon observing any of the following: persistent or severe dizziness, fainting, mental confusion, rapid weight loss, extreme pain or weakness, abnormal medical test results, reintroduce food immediately and seek medical and psychological assistance. There is no dishonor in self-care. The spiritual path is for life, not for death. Final reflection: only the true calling. Remember, less than 0.001% of humanity is truly prepared for this path. It is not a goal to conquer or a sign of superior evolution. It is a specific calling, mysterious, reserved for very particular souls. Do not compare yourself. Do not seek to prove anything. Failure is not a fall, but a merciful warning from life. Closing prayer of humility. O God, deliver me from pride and self-deception. May I never venture where your Spirit has not called me. Grant me the courage to care for myself, the honesty to discern, and the wisdom to always choose life and health over any spiritual feat. So be it. Chapter 10. Long-term maintenance, decades of light. The true spiritual journey never ends with the first summit conquered. Whoever has crossed the door of pranic nourishment and stabilized their new way of living now faces another challenge: inhabiting the light with humility and consistency, without losing sight that maintenance is an art, a daily practice, a choice renewed each morning. Here, discipline and grace intertwine to sustain body and soul for years, perhaps decades. The life of a long-term pranic practitioner is neither a straight line nor a rigid feat. Experience shows that after the initial transition, many go through cycles, periods in which nourishment by light is complete, followed by phases in which the body, soul, or circumstances prompt the intake of some physical food. This oscillation is not a sign of failure, but of wisdom. The body is a living, dynamic instrument, subject to seasons, emotions, service, and age. Some masters have occasionally eaten a fruit, a broth, or a bite during a celebration without it diminishing their pranic capacity in any way. True freedom lies in listening to the inner voice, not clinging to external rules. Interviews with practitioners of more than 10 years reveal a simple and profound life. One woman says, "I have spent long winters with only water and light. In summer, a fruit shared with my grandchild. The body responds, the mind clears, joy remains. The essential things are daily prayer, gratitude, and service to others." Another recounts, sensitivity increases over the years. "Sometimes I feel the energy of people, of the trees, of the very air when needed without guilt. And then I return to the light." Thus pass the days between the ordinary and the extraordinary. One of the greatest changes is subtle perception. The world, far from becoming alien, becomes more intimate. Senses sharpen. The skin feels the breeze, the eyes distinguish nuances, the ears detect silent harmonies, the heart expands in compassion and service. Many describe how spiritual service becomes a new metabolism, transforming the emotional energy of those around them, radiating peace, listening deeply, sustaining without words. The pranic practitioner ceases to be a consumer and becomes a giver. Their food is service, their satiety is inner fullness. Murphy teaches here a technique of constant renewal. Arrival alone is not enough. Each day is a birth. Each day requires its decree. Today I open myself again to the nourishment of light. This simple act of renewal protects against routine, pride, and self-deception. Old habits, doubts, and nostalgia for the past may return, and there is no shame in it. When the desire to eat arises, acknowledge it, allow it, and experience it with gratitude. Eating when necessary, or simply when the body requests it, is not regression but loving obedience to life. Guilt is never the teacher, only conscious love is the guide. One of the great gifts of this practice is simplicity. Give thanks for the freedom from dependence on rigid schedules, supermarkets, crowded kitchens, or long hours spent preparing and cleaning food. Celebrate the peace of having time and energy for what is essential: prayer, work, service, contemplation, and love. Make gratitude a daily practice. Remember that pranic nourishment is a gift, not an obligation. A grateful heart amplifies light and strengthens health. Regarding aging, some practitioners report increased longevity and vitality that astonishes themselves and others. Hair grays more slowly, skin retains elasticity, the mind remains lucid. This is not magic. It is the result of a body free from toxins, a serene mind, and a life without hurry or excess. Yet age arrives for all, and when the body asks for rest, it is granted. When it asks for food, it is provided. Perfection is a myth serving only the ego. True practitioners are complete humans, not superheroes or insensitive ascetics. They feel cold and heat, sadness and joy, desire and fullness. What distinguishes them is the natural way they flow with life, without forcing, fleeing, or boasting. Stay attentive. If at any moment health declines, energy drops, or joy fades, the only path is to reintroduce food. Light never demands vain sacrifices. The body is the infallible thermometer. The humility to recognize a need is more valuable than any discipline upheld by pride. Closing prayer of renewal and gratitude. O God, giver of light and of bread, today I renew my surrender to your will. Make me simple, consistent, and attentive to my health. Allow the light to sustain me when possible and food when necessary. May my life, in whatever form my nourishment takes, always be a song of gratitude and silent service to your creatures. Amen. Chapter 11. The mystical dimension beyond the body. Every deep spiritual path, as it progresses, touches unknown realms where the usual limits of experience expand and the soul glimpses subtler realities. Pranic nourishment, when genuine, not only transforms the body and mind, but occasionally opens the door to mystical perceptions that transcend matter and time. However, here more than ever, sobriety, discernment, and humility are essential. Sanity is the anchor that prevents shipwrecks in the sea of the ineffable. Many practitioners advancing on this path have reported experiences reminiscent of the accounts of saints or Eastern sages, the perception of light in all things, the certainty that every object, being, and situation vibrates with living energy, the sensation of communicating without words with higher dimensions of spirit. Some even claim to have transmitted subtle nourishment to others simply through loving presence, silent prayer, or the laying on of hands. A diary entry from an advanced practitioner reads, Sometimes during meditation, the room glows with a soft radiance, invisible to the eyes but tangible to the heart. I feel that I breathe light, that the air is a living caress, that every atom sings. If I approach someone in distress and remain silent, I notice their peace returning, their spirits lifting, as if an invisible nourishment enveloped them. These extraordinary experiences, while remarkable, are not the goal of pranic nourishment. They are side effects, flashes that manifest when the soul aligns with inner truth. Seeking the mystical as a goal is losing the path. The aim is to live each day in harmony with the principle, serene, useful, loving. Authentic mysticism does not separate one from the world, it enriches it. It does not generate pride but humility and compassion. Murphy teaches the importance of rational reinterpretation of the irrational. When such experiences arise, give them context. I am in full health. I feel centered, lucid, balanced. There is peace in my heart and usefulness in my actions. Only in this way are visions or perceptions signs of progress, not products of an exalted imagination or physical deficiency. It is known that severe malnutrition, fatigue, or isolation can induce altered states that, far from being signs of advancement, are warnings of danger. Therefore, if extraordinary experiences accompany physical deterioration, extreme insomnia, confusion, or distress, stop. Health is always the first criterion. Discernment is your best tool. When you perceive something unusual, ask yourself, does this phenomenon make me more compassionate, more patient, more useful? Has my service to others increased, or have I become self-absorbed and distant? Is my mind calm or restless, seeking new proof of progress? Genuine mystical experiences are recognized because they bring peace, clarity, humility, and renewed devotion to ordinary life. Remember that 99% of the practice is ordinary, living each day without eating, working, loving, praying, and serving. The mystical, when it comes, requires no publicity and should not be pursued. Spiritual maturity consists in embracing the greatness of the simple, the wonder of the everyday. Read this diary excerpt. After months of living on light, I sometimes perceive a soft radiance in people and plants. But what amazes me most is not these glimpses, but the new peace and tenderness with which I live each day. The joy of listening, helping, laughing with children. My true happiness is not in visions, but in the love I can now give effortlessly. If ever in doubt, remember the infallible law. Mystical experiences without physical health are signs of imbalance, not enlightenment. The spirit never demands the sacrifice of the body or sanity. If you feel that the mystical separates you from life, draws you away from service, or induces contempt for humanity, stop and pray for balance. Make the practice an act of humility. Give thanks for extraordinary gifts, but do not seek or cling to them. Always ask for discernment to distinguish true light from the mirage of a tired mind. Closing prayer. O God, if you grant me visions, let them be to serve better. If you give me subtle perception, let it be to love more deeply. Make me humble before the great and the small, and never let me stray from health, simplicity, and compassion. May my life, ordinary or mystical, always be for your glory. Amen. Chapter 12. The Higher Purpose, Why This Path. Spiritual life is simple and profound. It does not seek attention nor adorn itself with exoticism. The highest purpose of any true discipline is not to elevate oneself above others or to escape the responsibilities of the world, but to manifest here and now the kingdom of God in the land of the everyday. This is precisely the purpose of pranic nourishment. Its reason for being is never superiority or escapism, but inner liberation that allows one to direct vital energy towards service and love. Those who walk this path honestly discover that pranic nourishment does not separate us from life, but reconnects us with the essential. Freed from the need to seek, buy, prepare, and digest physical food, a new space opens, hours, energy, and attention to dedicate to spiritual works. Some use this time to serve others, visit the sick, read to children, comfort the suffering, assist in community work, pray for those absent, write words of hope, or simply listen with true presence to those who are unheard. This practice is a very specific calling for very few. There is no virtue in not eating. True virtue lies in love, usefulness, humility, health, and service. Those who eat normally, if they live with joy, gratitude, and compassion, are as spiritual as the most advanced practitioner of the light. A shared table of love is as sacred an altar as silent prayer in fasting. Spiritual life is not competition, it is communion. Murphy teaches an infallible technique to discern true purpose. Observe the fruits. Make inner silence and ask yourself sincerely, does this practice make me more loving, more useful, more humble, and healthier? Or does it make me arrogant, isolated, weak, or obsessed? If the answer is the first, the path is authentic. If the second, it is the ego disguised as spirituality. Upon reaching this reflection, pause and meditate with clarity. Close your eyes and ask your eternal Christ, am I truly called to this path, or am I running from something? Am I driven by freedom and love, or by fear and avoidance? Is this path a gift or a self-imposed burden? Remain in silence. Listen for the deep response. If you feel peace, gratitude, joy, and humility, continue. If anxiety, doubt, or resistance to life arise, release self-demand and choose another path. Both are worthy. Both lead to God and are walked with truth. Perform the exercise of commitment or release. Make a conscious act, aloud or in writing. I freely and responsibly choose to continue this path because I feel called to serve better, to love more deeply, to live in fullness. Or if it is not your calling, I honor the experience, I give thanks for the lessons, and I continue my life in gratitude and peace, nourishing my body and soul as they require. Always remember, true enlightenment is not measured by what you eat or refrain from eating, but by the light you radiate in your words, actions, and silence. To love well, to serve well, to be a light in the lives of others. This is the ultimate purpose, and only this fruit endures. Close the book with a blessing for all paths. May the light of God accompany you. May love guide every decision you make. May humility and gratitude fill your table, and may your life, nourished by bread or prana, always testify to divine goodness in the world. So be it.